So good morning. I think we can start the class. Lehman sir, good morning. Shamla ma'am, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Shall,
ma'am.
good morning. Shall we start the class, sir?
Yes, ma'am, we can start.
Okay. So thank you, sir. So to begin with, to-do list for today's class, it could be I would like to cover all these major things. Okay. So first is I wanted to give you basic instructions because I've got few inputs from your tutor. So based on that, I wanted to give you a few instructions on that. Then I wanted to teach about the algorithm and flowchart, which is the very basic for any programming language. Okay, so before getting into the coding part, you need to know what is algorithm, what is flowchart. Then I wanted to give you a few glimpses about the reference materials and the last class pending portions I wanted to cover. Then few basic programs I wanted to teach. Then with the presentations, then we'll give the exercise. Okay. So the first is about the instructions for today's class. This is about the instructions. So the class timing, it could be from next week onwards. We will try to stick on to this time, okay, strictly. So it's around 9:10 we will start because I don't want everyone to rush and join the class by 9 o'clock. So take a question time of 10 minutes. So around 9:10 we'll start the class. So 9:10 to 10:45, there will be a discussion about each and every concept on every week. So that's about the theory part. And then from 10:45 to 12, you will have exercises to do on your own. That's for hands-on. Then to 12 to 12:15, you will have a Viva test, like how you have written the test in today's class. Similar to that, you will have a test for 15 minutes every week. That particular test, it will be covering the portion which we had in the previous class. Okay. So what we have planned is I will be uploading the videos which I have covering, like which I recorded on every week. I will be uploading it in YouTube. So why the reason behind why we are uploading in YouTube is any of the open source tools like Moodle or Google Classroom, wherever it is, you cannot use exhaust the storage space. Okay, so that is the main reason why we are uploading it in YouTube. So we will be doing that. Make sure you go through the video then and there every week before you come into the next class, so that you will be able to take up this Viva, because mostly the questions will be asked only from the portion which I have covered. So you can make use of those videos and you can come prepared for the Viva. Okay, so that's for the next 15 minutes. And from 12:15 to 1 o'clock, you will have an one-to-one interaction with the faculty. Okay, so three faculties are there. That is three faculties are from your department. So you will have one-to-one interaction with them. I request you to, be sincere towards the assignments given on every week, and make sure you clear your doubts with the faculty. And you need to give your feedbacks then and there, because only then we will be in an a continuity, so that we will understand whether you guys are on flow or you're how we have to improve further. Okay, there is no way for anybody to feel that you don't understand C, because C programming language is a very basic one. So of course you need some extra effort. Okay, so that has to come from your end. So this particular hour, that is for around 45 minutes, we are planning to give for this checking the outputs. So maximum try to show the outputs and then try to interact with the faculties. Okay, so that's about the class timing. And next instruction is every week the questions will be posted in classroom. Okay, then and there after the theory class, it will be posted in your Google Classroom. So from there you can refer to the question, and the notes will also be posted there. Okay, so the outputs, what happens here is, see, as you guys said, most of you are from biology background. So what we decided is outputs, say for example, in a particular class, in today's class, if I'm giving you 5 programming questions, we will ask you to do all the 5. So if you're not able to cover all the 5, at least if you're able to do 1 or 2, okay, make sure you show those output to the faculty and make sure you get the marks for it. Okay, in that way, if you're able to do at least 2 programs, the relative grading will be done. If in this particular class you're completing only 2, in the next week if you're able to complete the rest 3 and show it, so accordingly your marks will be awarded. Okay, so it's all about how you are ready to face the assignment. So relative grading will be followed, so be ready for that. Okay, and next week, that's what, like previous week class outputs, if you're not able to complete on that particular day, you can of course show it in the next class, but the marks will not be given completely, so that you have to keep it in mind. So assignment, coming to assignment, I will just show you how you guys have submitted the previous assignment. It's like everyone has followed one template. So it's like there is no common template which is being followed in the previous class assignment. So I just wanted to show you how you have submitted. See, the student name is Anisha. So she has submitted directly from the REPL tool. She has just taken the screenshot of the code and the output, and she has shared. Okay, and few assignments, when I checked, it is a handwritten assignment. Okay, I don't remember the name of the students, but it's like few students have submitted it in handwritten assignment, and few have done screenshots. So there is a mix and match. So usually we used to follow this particular template for every assignment. That is right from this week. So last class was basically an introduction class. So from today onwards, your actual portion is getting started. So all the exercises which we are giving you from today's class, make sure you stick on to this template. Okay. So make a note of this template. Again, we will share it with you in Google Classroom. But still, for understanding, you just make a note of it. It should clearly have the date and exercise number. So exercise number is, if I am giving you 5 questions for this today's class, you should have it as 1A, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. Okay, so basically everything comes under the first assignment. So you should have the naming convention accordingly. Okay, if it's for the second assignment, if there is around 3 questions, it should be like for the next week 2A, 2B, 2C. Okay, so that's about the date and assignment exercise number. Then you should have the title accordingly. Say for example, you have write a program to find a circle of area of a circle. In that case, the title should be area of a circle. So that should be the title. Okay, so right from the question you can just take up the title. So make sure it is unique. Okay, like everybody are following it not the same title, because some might write just an area or whatever it is, but it should be unique for your assignment. And aim and algorithm, aim should be like if the question is write a program to find area of a circle. Okay, so the aim will always begin with the word to. Okay, to, wait, I just make it clear for you. Okay, always your aim should begin with the term to, because it is, you're going to do it. Okay, so it should have the term called to write a, this should be an aim. Okay, to write a program, find the area of a circle. So this will be your aim. Whatever question it is, you have to rephrase it accordingly and write your aim. Okay. And algorithm, I will teach you how to write. So algorithm is basically the step-by-step instruction. I will clearly teach you what it is, but make a note of this template. Your assignment should stick on to this template. Okay, so this algorithm should be there. Next, you will have something called as flowchart. That is, for your program, you will have a diagrammatic representation. So that also I'll teach you in today's class. So these two you should have. Followed by that, you should have your program. This program, it need not be a handwritten one. What you can do is your screenshot, which you have uploaded in last class, okay, assignment, like this. Okay, this REPL, from REPL software, tool, which we have captured. Those screenshots could be used here in the program and in the output. And the result is very simple. Just you write it as that's the area of the circle is being calculated or computed. A simple statement. What have you done? What have you carried over? So that could be in a result. Okay, it is being calculated or computed. Okay, so this is about the assignment template. Okay, so every assignment should stick on to this template. Okay, so this you have to follow it for all the assignments, and make sure you submit it in the Google Classroom so that everybody are sticking onto the same template. There should be a uniformity. Okay, you need not have somebody should not write everything. Somebody should not submit as an soft copy. It should not be a mix match. It should be the same template. Okay, so with this, anybody has got any doubt, you can ask, because this is something which you have to follow for throughout the semester. Okay, so anybody have got any doubt with this? Jeffrin? Jeffrin is here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Srimati,
Yes, ma'am.
are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Clear.
So if you guys have any doubts with this, you can either raise your hand or you can unmute your mic and you can ask. Okay, I think you guys are clear with this. So we will move on to the next document. Okay, so instruction is done. Okay, next is algorithm and flowchart. I'll just okay. So see, algorithm and flowchart you have to follow for all the programs. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand what is this term algorithm. Okay, so for any given program, you have something called algorithm, which is an step-by-step instruction, okay, or the procedure, how you solve a problem, like a given problem, how are you going to approach it? Okay, so logically, how are you going to approach the problem? So that you are going to write it in a step-by-step procedure. Okay, so to be more simpler, if you have got your physics chemistry laboratory, you will be given a lot of assignments, right? You will be given a lot of exercises to do. So what you do is, if you are asked to do the, any exercise in your physics, so what you do, get into the lab, you have some procedure to be carried out, right? In chemistry lab or in physics lab, they will be giving you some kind of uniform, you have to wear it, and then you have to get into that. You will have a proper dress code. Then once you get into the lab, you will be given some chemicals first in the chemistry lab, the solvents you will have, the solutions you have to bring. So there are a lot of procedures to take up, right? Similarly, in this programming, any program, when you approach it, a question is being given to you, make sure you think logically what could be the solution for it. Okay, and then you have to write how you're going to approach it in step-by-step fashion. Okay, I will give you clear examples. For now, you should know what is algorithm. So algorithm is nothing but you will have a step-by-step procedure or step-by-step instruction, which will clearly talk about how you're going to approach the problem. That's it. Okay. So anybody, if say for example, Jeffrin, okay, if Jeffrin is writing an algorithm, and if he is uploading it in your WhatsApp group, if he is posting it in your WhatsApp group, everybody should be able to read that algorithm and understand what he has written. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be like sophisticated group only will understand. So that case should not be there. It should be like, it should be easily understandable for any layman and anybody who reads the algorithm. They should be understand what Jeffrin has written, what is his approach. I mean, what is his way of approaching that particular problem? Okay, so that's about the algorithm. Next is the term called flowchart. Flowchart is nothing but it is an pictorial representation of your algorithm or your program. That is called as flowchart. Okay, so how it will be, how it will look like, I will show you now. All right. So say for example, you are in an you are anywhere around this Coimbatore or in your native, you are asked to log in into your Facebook account. Okay, so what will you do? How will you log in into your Facebook account? Let me ask the question. Okay, Gopi Krishnan.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, give me an answer.
Ma'am, I enter my Facebook ID
Yes.
and I give my password.
Mm-hmm.
Then it sends me a verification. Then after reading all the instructions, I give okay. Then I log in to my Facebook account.
Good. Okay. Anybody else have got answer for this question? Anybody? think I have to point out, right? You guys are not open. Okay, Swati, roll number 40. Swati.
I would log in with password or something.
Yes, tell me.
Log in with the password.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all. Okay, all right. So, see, everybody will give these answers, but your first answer should be from where, right? It is not happening in air, correct? As Gopi said, he was correct with the steps to be carried out, but he didn't give me an answer about from where he will start. Okay, so it should be like from which place you're going to start. That is the algorithm. The algorithm is something which you're going to write in step by step. It is not in between process or intermediate process. It's right from the first step what you do. From there you have to write. So the question, how will you log in into your Facebook account? The very first answer is it should be from any of the devices. Okay, correct. It should be from your desktop, laptop, tablet, or any of your PCs. So this should be the first answer. Then you to know how to write an algorithm. So now I'll show you the answer. Next answers will be the steps which Gobi has said. That is, you have to get into the Facebook, you have to enter the email, then you will log in button, you will click it, then you will enter. Okay, so this is a sequence. So everybody will give the answers from here. In simple English, we write it like this. But when you're applying it to your programming language, you have to make sure you start from the initial step, from where you start and from till where you process it and where you're going to end it. Okay, so there are few importance which has to be given to the starting and stopping. So the terminals, that is the starting and stopping condition, should be mentioned. Okay, so again, flowchart. So there are 6 basic symbols which are commonly used with respect to the flowcharts in C language. Okay, so I will show you what are the 6 symbols. Make a note of these 6 symbols because mostly you will use only these 6. So this symbol, okay, it's like actually an oval shape. So it is about the terminal. The name of the symbol is terminal. So this is going to represent the starting or ending. So both it is going to represent. It could either be a starting or it is an ending. This symbol can be utilized. Okay, and this rectangular, no, like slanting rectangle. This symbol you make use of to express the input or output operation. Okay, in order to use the printf scanf statements, you will use this particular box. Okay, and this particular shape, square shape, or you call it as long rectangle. So this you can use it for the process or operations when you're calculating. Say for example, your question is write an C program to add 2 numbers. Okay, so what is the process involved here is the addition. You have to calculate, right? Calculation is the process involved. So those calculations could be written or expressed in within this box. So this box is called as process. Okay, so all these operations and calculations, you use this particular process box. Okay, and next you have the diamond shaped symbol. So this is called as the decision symbol. Okay, so why we use this is if you are given a particular scenario where you have to answer to the question like yes or no. Okay, in that case you can use this diamond symbol. So this symbol name is called as decision box. Okay, so now next is the connector. Connector is nothing but if you have a long flow charts, if you're not able to cover it in a single page, if you're going to have a flow or continuation in the next page, you will use this connector symbol there and you will just say within this you will write P, that is next page, or you can write any symbol, alphabet within this connector symbol in the end of the page, and in next page, beginning of the page, again you will use this symbol and you represent it with the same character which you written in the previous page. If in the first page if you have written it as P, in the next page beginning you will also continue with the same symbol and you will write it as a P. Okay, next is this arrow symbols. This arrow symbols are called as control flow. That is all those boxes, that is your terminal, then your process, then your operations, all those symbols we have seen, right? So to all those symbols, you will have something called as connector. I'm sorry, how you connect between each and every symbol, so that you can make use of this arrows, that is control flows you can use. Okay, so overall we have seen all these six symbols. One is the terminal, so this is going to represent the starting or ending of the program. This second symbol is called as the input or output. So basically you use it for printf, scanf statements, you use this. Next, the processes, you use it for the computations or the calculations. And this diamond symbol is called as the decision symbol. This is basically used for situations where you are handling with yes or no type of questions. Okay, and this connectors, if you're having a lengthy flow charts, if you have to continue it in the next pages, you will use this connector symbol. And this control flow, this arrow symbols are used to connect between all the symbols. You use this control flow symbol. Okay, so what are the basic rules which you have to follow with respect to the flowchart is generally it is drawn from top to bottom. Okay. Next, all these boxes must be connected. As I said, the last one, the control flow, you have this arrow mark, right? So this will be used to connect all these shapes or the symbols. So that is the second rule. Okay, it should be connected with the arrows. And all the flowchart, it should have two things. That is the terminus it should have, and then the process symbol it should have. And decision is optional because it will not be involved in all the programs. Say, for example, if your program is asked to print hello world, if this is your question, you no need to use this decision symbol because you don't have any question there to answer whether it is true or false, yes or no. Okay, so what happens here in this case for the question is, if you're asked to write a program to print hello world, in that case you're not going to make use of this decision symbol. Instead, you will just use this terminal symbol, start symbol, end symbol, and you will just use the process symbol. Okay, but if your question is write a C program to find if a number is greater than 5, in that case what happens is you have given a problem to analyze and answer whether the number is greater than 5 or not. So you have an option called yes or no. So for that case, you have to use this decision symbol. Okay, so I'll just give you an exercise. Okay, I'll just explain it to you. If the question is write in the program to add two numbers 10 and 20. So in simple English, how do you write an algorithm? So this is how you write algorithm. First is you have to initialize a variable, correct? If you are going to add two numbers, you have to have a third variable where it will store the result of the two numbers A and B. So sum will be the variable which you are assigning it to be 0 initially. Initially, it will not hold any value. It will be 0. So basically, this variable sum is going to hold the result. Okay. Next, you're going to enter the numbers, two numbers. You're going to add them and then you will store it in the result. Okay, last you will print the sum. So this is the simple algorithm steps how you write it for this particular program. Flowchart is nothing but you're going to convert this particular instruction, step-by-step instruction, into the diagrammatical representation. That's pictorial representation. So any of the program will have the start and stop symbol. Okay, so because any program you will have the you have to start with it and you have to end with, terminate with it. So always you will have the start and stop symbols. So this you have the terminals. Okay, next is you are going to make some initialization. That is like you are going to just use any print statement to say the give the user in message stating that the value of sum has been assigned to 0. So just you're going to make an initialization. So you are using this symbol, okay, input symbol, and then there is a process symbol. Then next you are going to use the enter. That is, you're going to use it in the printf, scanf statements. Enter is you're going to use 10 and 20. Enter numbers, or you can ask the user to enter the values of A and B. So two numbers have been entered. Then you're going to find the sum. So sum is going to be the addition of these two numbers. Then finally you're going to print and then stop. Okay. So what I want you to look into this, what I want to do is I want you to clearly understand the difference between the symbols. Total you have got only 6 symbols. Among them, the connector symbol and the decision symbol you will not use very frequently, because only with particular program, if there is a situation, if you have to make a decision about yes or no, you have to use that decision symbol. Okay, and if your flowchart is very lengthy, in that case you're going to use the connector symbol. So apart from that, you just have got only 4 basic symbols for your flowchart. So I want you to clearly understand the difference between them. So the start and stop, of course, it is going to use this oval shape name terminal. Then the computations, that is the calculations and the initializations, all these things has to be done with this process box. And then the scanf and printf statements, all these things will be represented in this slanting rectangular box. Okay, so this is one of the example. Next is this comes under the looping statement. So this I don't want to confuse you guys. So this is about the flow chart, which I want you to draw it for logging in into the Facebook account. Okay, I will just show you how we can do it. First is you are going to start and you're going to enter your ID. So entering your Facebook ID and all is just in the printf scanf type of action. So you just represent in the slanting rectangular symbol. Then you're going to be redirected to the Facebook homepage. Okay, that is when you enter it in the Google, you're going to be redirected into this homepage. So this some processing is carried over, right? You're going to be redirected to a page. So we are representing it with this process symbol. Next is you're going to enter your email ID and your password. So you're going to do some entry, right? So from the keyboard, you're going to do some action. So the printf scanf will be again used here. So you make use of this symbol, that is the slanting symbol, input output symbol you use. And if this is correct, so now you're given an option to decide whether it is right or wrong. So the email ID and the password which you have entered, whether this is correct or not. So you are given an option, okay, to decide yes or no. Okay, in that case, what you do, you will make use of this decision symbol. So the decision symbol is used here. Is this password correct or not? That is both your email ID and password. If yes, if this is correct, if Gopi's email ID and password is correct, what happens? It will be displayed. Okay, your account will be displayed and finally it will be stopped. Okay, if it is not correct, if any of one of these email ID, neither your ID or your password is wrong, what happens if it is not correct? There will be a page where it will be showing you the login error. So this login error page is something called as an computation is done, right? Something has been processing has carried over in the web server. So you're getting this page. So you will have to represent this in this box. I want you to clearly understand the difference between why you use this process symbol here and why do you use this slanting rectangle symbol here. Okay, so if there is an error here, what happens? You are just asking the user to enter it again. All right, so this is about the example for a simple flowchart and algorithm. We are done with this basics. So with respect to this, I just wanted to ask you guys, do you have any doubts with respect to the algorithm and flowchart? Anybody, if you have doubts, you can ask. Vikash, 45.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Kanu, do you have any doubt?
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay. Then 35, roll number 35. Srivatsan.
Ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay. Shivani.
Ma'am, I have a doubt in connector, ma'am. Where we have to use that, ma'am?
Okay. The connector, I'll just show you. See, wait a minute. I'll just draw it in my paper so that I can send you the screenshot. Wait, I'll just post it. Your WhatsApp group, just check it there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I just posted in your WhatsApp group, just check it there. So it's about the same example which we just discussed, the sum of the two numbers. If my problem is, if my flowchart is too lengthy, or if I don't have any space to continue. Okay, so what happens is, in the first page I have just written the symbols, that is the start, sum is 0, then you have to enter two variables a and b, then you are calculating the sum as a plus b. Next step, it should be the printing statement. Print the result, right? Print the sum. So if I don't have space there, what I'll do, I will use the connector symbol, that is the round circle symbol. Within that, I will mention it with any of the character. Okay. The next page, I will use the same symbol to represent that there is a continuation. Okay, continuation of the flow, same flow chart. Next, I will just print the sum value and then I'll stop. Shivani, are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, Praveen, 30.
No, ma'am.
என்ன புரியலையா? No ma'amங்கறீங்க.
புரியல. I can't understand.
You can't understand what?
How?
Yes.
One more time repeat பண்ணுங்க மேம். அது flow chart please.
இப்போ நான் வாட்ஸ்அப்ல அனுப்பிச்சதா?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. See, you have got the same example which I just taught you guys. So the start symbol should be there. Okay. Next is, this particular program is going to add two numbers. Okay. So if you are going to add the number a and b, so a is going to take a value called any value, say for example 2, and if b is going to take a value 2. Okay, so two variables a and b is being used, so your number value will be, for a it is 2 and b it is 2. So initially the variable sum, that is the resultant variable, has to be initialized with value 0. Then the user has to enter a and b as values, then you have to calculate the sum. So sum has to add two variables a plus b. So after that, if I don't have enough space, basically for the space usage, or if you're going to just stop it here and if you're going to continue this particular flowchart after 3 or 4 pages in your Word document or in your notebook, so in that case what happens is there should be a continuation, right? It shouldn't be that just stop there. So to have a continuation, you're just plotting it with a circle symbol, and you're just mentioning it with any of the character, any alphabet you can use there within that symbol, circular symbol. I have just used it as P. Okay. So in the continuation, like how do you turn your exam pages? If you are writing an answer and if you need to continue the answer to the next sheet, okay, you will just have PTO, right? Please turn over. Similarly, you use it in the flowchart. So in the next page, you will just have a same symbol and then you will print the result and then you will stop it. Is it clear? Nirmal, 28.
Ma'am, yes ma'am,
Yes.
I can understand ma'am.
Okay. Naren, are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Yes. Yes.
ma'am, control flow ஒரு வாட்டி சொல்லுங்க.
Which one? The control flow. Control flow is nothing but the, one second, I'll just show you. The arrow symbol. See, the arrow symbol, that is up arrow and down arrow, right? So this arrow symbol, you call it as control flow. So where do we use this is in order to have a connection. If you have the terminals, you have input, you have process. Just like that, if you leave it, you don't have a continuation between the shapes, right? And the symbols. So to have a continuation between them, to have a connection, you use this control flow. If you haven't looked at this login, Facebook login flowchart, you have a start symbol. Then you are going to enter the address, Facebook address. Then you're going to be redirected into Facebook page. So imagine if I don't have this arrow symbols here, if I just draw the start symbol, this enter, then the Facebook page. If I just leave it just like that, it doesn't make any sense, correct? So what happens is if you're using this control flow symbols between them, in between the symbols, you will have a connectivity between them. That's all. That is the usage. Nandini, are you clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Then Kiruba. Kiruba, 19.
Yes, ma'am. No doubts, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And I think that's it. Sorry for the interruption. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so next is the pending portion. We are done. This reference materials, were you be able, I mean, was it visible for you guys, the reference materials? Naren?
Yes, ma'am, it was visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So the next is the pending topics. So few basic topics are the tokens, then the identifiers, then keywords and variables. All right. So we'll just begin with this. So to begin with the token. Okay. So tokens are just the how do you call it, as a basic building blocks. Say for example, if you have got the English language, you have got the character set as 26 characters, right? So A, B, C, D till Z, you have got 26 characters. So they are called as tokens of English language. That is the characters. Similar to English language, in C program, you have got something called tokens. Okay. So these 6 majorly comprise to form this token. So you have got the keywords, then identifiers, constants, string, special symbols, and operators. So these are together called as tokens because all these 6 components, when they are put together, you will get a C language. Okay. So again, I repeat, how you call the character set, that is alphabets, you call it as and tokens in English language. Similarly, in C programming language, you have got these prime components to be together, to combine together, where you can form and complete C language. Okay, so tokens is nothing but like a ticket, right? If you're going to fly from one place to another place, you need a basic token or a ticket. Similarly, these things are a basic components. Okay, so right from the terms you can make out the term operator. It is going to be comprising of all the basic assignment operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, all these mathematical operators, these symbols, you call it as the term called operator. So operator is one of the token. Okay. Then you have called the special symbols. So special symbols is nothing but this open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Okay. Then this flower brackets, all these things. Okay. So these are called as the special symbols. And then you have got the strings. So strings is nothing but characters are A, B, C, D, each and every individual characters. They are different, and it when you call it as a string, it is going to be a collection of characters. So if you have a word called total, so it is going to have all the characters involved within it. So to put together, you call it as a string. Okay. So similarly, a word called hello. So put together all these characters individually, it has been put together to form a word. So a word is called as string in C. Okay. The next you have got this constant. Constant is nothing but you have got the fixed values. So say for example, there is a value called 10. If a particular variable is going to take up this value 10, it is going to remain same forever. It is not going to change. So constant means it is going to remain the same. Okay. So the values is going to be the constants. Then identifiers are nothing but you have got the variables, functions, and arrays. Within this identifiers, I'll teach you what it is in the next topic. So identifiers are something which we use it in our own pace, like however we wanted to name a function, however we wanted to name a variable. Say for example, if you've got a puppy in your house or a pet in your house, you have a privilege to name it, right? Similarly, in any of the programs, you have got variables, lot of functions, lot of arrays are going to be used in your program. So you are got a privilege to name it. So that is called as the identifiers. You have got a lot of combination of variables, then functions and arrays and all those things. So you have to know these combination is going to be called as the identifiers. Okay, so basically you're going to give a name to it. So if you have to calculate sum of 2 numbers, you have to get 2 inputs from the user, right? So say for example, the first number and the second number. So first number, it should have a identification, right? So you can have a variable, you can use a variable called A to hold the first number. Then you can use a variable called B to hold the second number. So identifiers are something which are going to be composed of the basic variables, then the functions, then the arrays. Okay. Then the keywords are nothing but you have got few predefined words. in C. So the inventor, Dennis Ritchie, he has given few of the keywords. I think around 32 it was there. Now they would have added few more. So standard was 32 keywords are there. Okay, that is standardly predefined. They have used few words. So those words you cannot change. You have to use it as such. So say for example, from your last week class, I have taught you about the basic data types. So you would have we would have covered 4 basic data types, right? Integer, character, float, and double. So these 4 were the basic data types. So all these names, like if it is going to be an integer, you're going to represent it with int, int, right? If it is going to be a character, it should be char, char, correct? So these things you cannot change. Okay, you do not have any privilege or access to change this. So this is called as keyword. All right, so you should know the difference between what is identifier, what is keyword. All right, because these are very basic. This operator, it is going to have only the basic elements like plus, minus, star, divide, modulo. All these are going to be the operators. Special symbols are all these things like open parenthesis, close parenthesis, the curly braces. All these things are going to be a special symbols. Strings are nothing but you will have words in English, right? You will have n number of words. So words are called as strings in C. Constants are the values which cannot be changed. Once it is fixed, it is fixed. So that is called as constants. Then identifiers are something where you can name it accordingly, like as you wish, you can name it. Any of the variables, any of the functions, any of the arrays, you can name it in your own style. Okay. But keywords are something which is predefined, you cannot change it. Okay, it is already a fixed one. That is the keywords. So we'll just have a look at some of the rules which has to be followed for naming these identifiers. Okay, so I will repeat identifiers. You will have the variables, like as I said, for example, the computing the addition of 2 numbers, you will have 2 variables. You can name it like A, B, or you can have a names like first number, second number, any type of names you can give it. So to the variables or to the functions or to the arrays, you can have your own style of giving names to it. So that is called as identifiers. So how do you, is there any strict rules to be followed? Yes. So first rule is the character which you use it as an identifier, right? Say for example, I'm using an identifier as today. If today is going to be an identifier, so there are some rules to be followed. First is the first character should be an alphabet or underscore. So yes, my character is alphabet. Okay, it can either be this way or it could be underscore today. Okay, so these 2 are allowed. So this is the first rule. Second is the succeeding characters. It could be the letters or digits, but first character should not be a digit or a letter. Okay, so the second rule is what you can have it as T90JY, any combination, or you can have underscore T90 any number and followed by D character. Okay, so this is the second rule. So the very first rule is the first character should be an alphabet or it should be an underscore. Next, the second rule is the succeeding letter or the character after the first character. The upcoming characters, it could be the digits or the letters. Okay, and then the punctuation and the special characters will not be allowed. Okay, only that underscore is allowed, except that other special characters. Say for example, your open parenthesis, this square bracket, this curly braces, all these things are not allowed. This question mark, backslash, and slash, all these things are not allowed when you're naming any of the variables or any of the functions. Okay, then it shouldn't be the keywords. Say for example, keywords means what? It is already predefined as we discussed. So your variable name, it shouldn't be int. That is, this will be the data type. Next should be the variable name. So variable name should not be the keyword. So there are around 32 keywords. I'll just teach you what is that. So it shouldn't be, the name of the variable shouldn't be any of your keywords. Okay, so that this is not allowed. So this is the fourth rule. So these 4 are the basic rules which you have to remember when you are naming any of the variables. Okay. So next type is called as keywords. Keywords are nothing but, as I said, the inventor, that is Dennis, has already defined few words. Okay, so each and every keyword has got and predefined meaning. You cannot change that. If your data type has to be int, you have to use this integer int alone. You cannot change it. So all these things are constants. Okay. So these are defined to the compiler. Like the meaning of these terms are already defined to the compiler, so you cannot change it. So it's around 32 words are there. So this auto is the type of storage you use it. Then the double is the data type. Then you have the structure to use the user-defined data type. You have structure. See, you don't have to break your head with all these keywords. I just wanted you to go through what it is and what are the keywords, because you should not use these keywords as the name of the variables. Okay, so for that sake, you have to know what are the different types of keywords. So around 32 keywords are there. Okay, so these things, I think by the end of this course, you will be able to cover up all these 32 types of keywords in the syllabus, because we are having all these concepts in the syllabus, so you will be using. So as of now, for the first class, this integer, it has already been used. You know what is int, right? Is the data type. Then this float, already you know it is a data type. And then double. Then you have the short and long. Short int, long int. This is also again unsigned, signed. All these comes under the data type. Next, this break, else, switch, for, all these things comes under the looping statements. This will be covered in the next class. So these are the basic keywords which you have to know. What is it? Okay, so that you don't use it as naming the variables. Okay, so this is about the tokens, then the rules for identifiers, and then the keywords. Next is the variables. Variable is nothing but very simple. See, if you are going to be residing in Pollachi, or it could be Coimbatore, anywhere, so your own identity will be your address, right? If I have to send you some exam question paper as a courier, or if you have to send you a hard copy of a book, I have to courier you, right? So in that case, what happens? To reach you will have a unique address. So that is called as an identifier for yourself. That is, you have got an address. So that address, within that address, you're going to be residing, right? So if it is in Pollachi, you will have some street name. In that street name, you will have a number. In that, within that number, how that particular house you will be residing. So similarly, this is how you have to imagine. So this is how a particular value will be stored in a variable. Okay, so say for example, Gopi address is Gopi 12 Pollachi Road. If this is Gopi Krishnan address, okay. So what happens if I post it directly? It reaches the person Gopi. So similarly, if I have a requirement to store a value, value is equal to 10. So this 10 is Gopi. Okay. So Gopi is going to be residing or living within this address, correct? So this address is going to be this value. So that is the variable. So you need this value to be stored inside this variable. Okay, so basically, why do we use this variable? It is about the memory location to store the once again 11:30. Okay, so this is a simple example. Okay, so this Gopi is going to reside in this address. So similarly, you have a value called 10. So this 10, it is going to be stored within this variable called value. So if I ask you to name this variable, I have named it as value. Some will name it as number 1. Correct? Number 1 is equal to 10. And some will name it as number 1 is equal to 10. Okay. And some will also name it as underscore number is equal to 10. All these are correct. Okay. This is with respect to your, okay, this is with respect to the variable. All right. So I want you to clearly understand about what is a variable. So variable is going to be a named location, and it will be a memory where this program can store the data. Okay. So this location is going to hold the value. Okay. So please be clear with this so that everywhere you're going to use this variable. Okay. So what are the basic data type these variables can hold is the basic data types, the integer, float, or character. So if I have to convert this particular, that is this particular 3 lines into C language, how will I write? I have the name of the person as Gopi. If I'm just storing it as G, okay? So I will have the name variable called name is equal to G, okay? So before giving this name as G, I have to define the data type of this G, correct? I can just give as char G, okay? This is for your understanding. So this is nothing but if I use this symbol, it is called as comments. So this already I've covered. So I can use the char data type for this G. Then I can use the number 12. So it is an integer data type. So int, the number could be door number or any number is assigned to be 12. So this is how your variables will look like. So your variable will follow with any of the values which you assign to it, and it will definitely have something called as the data type. The data type, definitely you should mention it before your variables. Okay. So that's about what is variable. And again, the rules is very simple. Your variable name, it should always begin with a letter or an underscore. And make sure it is very case sensitive. It is case sensitive in the sense, if in a program, if you're declaring this particular variable as completely capital letter number, anywhere within the program, you cannot change it for something like, all the small case letters, something you cannot change it. Like this, if you use it, this is completely different from this because this is a combination of uppercase letters, but this is only single uppercase and followed by lowercase. So this is different. So it is case sensitive. I think you understand, right? So it is case sensitive now. Names are case sensitive. So make sure you have a naming convention properly. You should have a watch on it. Next is, it could be a combination of digits and letters. And other than underscore, any other special symbols are not allowed. And next is your variable name, that is the sum, height, value, or some of the examples. Like this could be the name of the, like how we have just used the names. Similarly, these could be the variable names, sum, height, or underscore value. So all these are any name you can do. So simply, if you have to remember, if you have got a baby at home, you are given a privilege to name it like your wish, right? You can name it as, if it's a boy baby, you name it as Pavin, Kevin, Ram, anything with respect to your religion, right? Some might name a boy as Pavin, some might name it as Akash, some might name it as Khaira. So it's about the variable, you can just imagine like that. So the name of the baby, it's left up to you. Similarly, the name of the variables, it's left up to you, but make sure you stick on to these 5 rules. I'm sorry, 4 rules basically. So next you should know what is the declaration and what is initialization. So if you have just declared means what? You just use it as int a, okay? If it is integer data type, this variable a is going to be integer data type. So this particular line is called as, you're just going to declare it, declaration. If you have to make some initialization, in that case, you should use it as int a is equal to some value, 90 or 900, some value. Okay, so this is the differentiation between you have declaring it and then you are going to initialize it. Okay, so this is about the very basic stuff, that is about your tokens, then identifiers, the rules to be followed for identifiers, then keywords, then the variables. Okay, next, with this, if you have got any doubts, you can ask. Gopi Krishnan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nare? You might ask why I'm repeating these students' name. I don't know anybody else. Your names are being here, showing here. Yes, Nare.
I don't have any doubt.
Okay, next. Jeffrey?
No, ma'am. No doubt.
Okay. Fine. Okay. See, in between, if there is any interruption, please bear with us because we are in college. All the staffs are back to the college, so we will have some people coming into the rooms. Staffs will come. So in between, if there is any interruption, please wait. Okay, so this pending portion is over. Okay, next is basic programs. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to ask you guys about what would be, the output of these programs. Okay, just have a look at it and just give me an answers. You have got a header file. So these things we have already discussed in the last class. Then you have got a main function. Within that, you will have an initialization of a variable. Okay, because you declare a variable x and you initialize some value to the variable. You're now going to print the value. So whenever you're going to print, you're going to use this format specifier. Then you will have this variable name. Then you're going to return 0 because the data type you have used is integer. So you're going to return 0. So I'll just ask some of you. I want you to give me an answer about what could be the value of x. Okay. Sujit, 38. Roll number 38.
Ma'am, he has some technical issues, ma'am. Sujit Prasanna.
Okay. Okay, Vikash, give me an answer. Yes, Vikash.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What would be the answer for this?
3.9. No, ma'am. I don't know. Ma'am.
You don't know. Okay. 43. Roll number 43.
Ma'am?
Yes, 43. Taruna.
No, ma'am.
You don't know. Okay. 31.
3.9, ma'am.
3.9. Okay. Naren Ganapati, 25.
Ma'am, don't know.
Yes. You don't know. Okay. Roll number 15.
Ma'am, don't know, ma'am.
Okay. Roll number 10.
Don't know, ma'am.
Okay. Next, 2.
Ma'am, I don't know.
Okay. Let me ask this. Who knows the answer?
Ma'am, it's an
Ma'am?
error, I think so.
Error, ma'am.
No error, ma'am.
Error, ma'am.
You say it's an error. Okay. Why it is an error?
Ma'am,
Because
because
it's a
it's
float, ma'am.
Integer, ma'am. We have to
not an
declare float
integer, ma'am.
You
integer,
have to
ma'am.
use float in that, ma'am. Not integer.
Okay. So I just okay. Somebody said it's 3.9 and Gopi 47 Jeffrey. You guys say it's error. Okay. It says about a warning, right? Okay. Are you able to see the output in my screen?
Yes,
Gopi?
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is the
Yes, ma'am.
yes? What is the output?
3, ma'am.
Yes. What's the output? 3.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So it is not an error. It is a warning message. It is the correct answer is more or less correct. What Jeffrin 47 and sorry 47. I don't know your name. Okay. Then Gopi, as you guys say, it is an error. But when you run it in a compiler, it will throw an warning message. Okay, because an integer is a data type which can handle the numbers. Okay, even if my initialized value is 3.9. First half of the number is going to be an integer, right? Only after the decimal, it is going to be the decimal points and decimal value, so which will be handled with float, correct? So here, the first half, 3, it will be taken as an integer and that value will be displayed. So the output will be 3, okay? So the same program, if I change it here as float, and if I change the specifier, now I get exactly the output as 3.9000 because I have used the data type to be float. Okay, so when I print this value x, the complete number along with the extra zeros that is representing the particular number to be a decimal number, you will have the representation completely because we have used the data type as float. Okay, so this is a very basic program where there should be made a difference between the two data types, that is the integer and the float. Okay, so now I'll ask the same people. Roll number 10. Now, did you understand what our output it is and what is the reason behind its error?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then roll number 19. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me move to the next question. Okay. So what will be the output for this program? So now my program says the header file is there. Next we have got the main function. Within that we have defined the variable called x, and this declaration takes up an initialization immediately. A value is initialized, then we print it. Now anybody? What would be the output for this? Yes.
A, ma'am.
Shweta, A. Okay. Anybody else? Jiva, 13. 1, 3.
No, ma'am. No, no.
You don't know. Okay. Anisha?
A, ma'am.
You say A. Okay. Then I'll ask 24. Nandini.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, I think that is error. Percentage D varadilla, ma'am.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Okay. Anybody else has got any? Nandini, which background are you? You're from biology or computer science?
No, ma'am, bio, ma'am.
Very good, very good. Because I appreciate you. You have, minutely you have noticed because since most of you guys have said you guys are from biology background. Okay, so I appreciate Nandini. At least one out of that crowd is pointing out the error. Okay, next. Naveen Kumar 27. What could be the output?
No idea, ma'am.
No idea. Okay. Gopi?
Ma'am, it's an error.
Okay. Why it's an error?
The percentage J, I think so. It's
Okay. So what is the output? Please check it here. Yes. Gopi,
ma'am.
what is the output here? I've just mentioned it here. I just want to show you. What is the output? Gopi, please read from here.
65.
65, yes. Why is it 65?
Value of the character.
Value of ASCII character, ma'am.
47, yes, explain.
Forgot that, ma'am. Something ASCII value, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. See, these are very basic things. You have to know things. You have something called ASCII. Okay. What rule number 47 said is right. It is about ASCII. ASCII. Okay. So this is an American standard code which they use for this information interchange. That is, see, these are your additional informations. If it is good for you guys to know all these things, because just from the books, if you read it, you will not understand what is it. And mostly with respect to C, you have to do a lot of effort. You have to do a lot of programs. That is right from the basics, and you have to have a lot of errors. Only when you are having errors, you will try to clear that. You will try to learn a lot from the errors. It's not that don't at all try to write a program without any errors, because only when you make errors you will learn what is that error, and then you will learn more about that particular errors. Okay, so this ASCII is an standard code which is being used for information interchange. In that case, all the characters, not only the alphabets A to Z, but including the special symbols, then the numbers, everything has got each and every representation, like in zeros and one format. Say, for example, if you've got a character A, it is understandable for you to read it as A, but your machine is going to understand it in zeros and one format. Okay, so ASCII is going to have a particular values. Okay, I'll just show you the table, how it looks. So if you look at this, you will have an idea. It's like everything is going to be converted into numbers. Okay, see, say here's a representation. You have got around 95 graphic ASCII characters. Everything will be into numbers. So for each and every symbol which you have it in your keyboard, you have got an equivalent number value. Say, for example, if you have got a character A, capital A, the decimal value of it is going to be converted. Only then the compiler will understand you have entered a character A. Okay, so all this magic happens within, but we have to understand how it happens. So if it is going to be character B, its decimal is 66. All this is predefined. Okay, so it will be already loaded in your compiler internally. Only then your computer understands what you are entering and how it is going to process. Okay, so similarly, so simple differentiation is, if you have got a capital letter A, the value of it is capital letter A is going to take 65. Okay, similarly, if you have the same letter A in lowercase, if it is going to be small letter A, the value it is going to take up is 97. It's different. Okay, so this is how your computer will differentiate whether you have entered a capital letter A or a small letter A based on the value. Understood? Based on the decimal value, and you have got a hexadecimal value representation also. Okay, so with respect to this program which I have just explained you here, what happens is I have initialized the value for this character X to be A, and if I would have given here, as Nandini was pointing it out, she was right. Without the proper or correct format specifier, that is, for this character, I should, what specifier should I use? Nandini, could you unmute your mic and give me an answer? To get the output as capital A, what value should I give here? What format specifier should I use here?
Character C, ma'am.
Very good, very good. Instead of B, I should use C. Okay, in this case, what happens is I will get the output as A. Okay, but instead, since I have used it as D, what happens is this compiler will read this alphabet A as an integer, because anyhow, obviously, it is going to convert it. okay, into number. So that number is being shown as the output here. Okay. So Nandini, how did you identify it? Did you go through the video? Then did you read any extra stuff? Because I think last week compared to the last week class, now you have around 1 or 2% confidence. The way you give answer itself shows it. So what did you do? Because if you share, the others will also follow.
Yes, ma'am. I asked my bro, ma'am.
Okay. You have asked your brother. Okay.
Little bit he taught me, ma'am, yesterday.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So some extra effort you have taken.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So see, it's about, you have got around 4 hours of time. Okay, so every week you will have class only till 10:30. But today, why am I extending is these are the basics. So I thought at least the basics has to reach very well, because at least advanced concepts you can go through from any of the books, or you can, if you have doubts, you can approach us. But these basic stuffs I want you to clearly understand. So that's the reason I am just taking, apart from extra time, I'm just taking some extra time. So as Nandini said, she has taken help from her brother. So you guys can do some extra effort. Like, we have given 4 hours of time, and for your information, this is not a theory paper. This particular subject is a laboratory. Okay, it is a lab. So we have to just give you the questions, and you have to do the programs. Okay, so this is how this particular lab should be taken out. But considering you don't have C language as a theory, and you don't have strong computer science background, most of you has to have said it's a biology. So we thought we can have a combination of theory and the lab. Okay, so it is a theory come lab component. So your examination point of view, make a clear note on this. You will not have any theory exam for this. Okay, every week you will be having assignments. You will have 4 to 5 questions. You are supposed to give the outputs, show the outputs to the faculty and get marks. So it's like around, if you have got 10 weeks you will have assignments, and those assignments average will be taken as your end semester mark. Apart from that, you will have 2 exams in between. You will have CAT 1 and CAT 2. Once again, somebody's knocking. Okay, so apart from that, you will have 2 examinations, CAT 1 and CAT 2. And the exam, you will have completely the programs. You will not have any theory. So you will have programs. And those marks and the every week assignment marks together, you will be given the mark. So you don't have any theory exam. Please be clear with this. So once you are clear with the concepts, you can go ahead with the programs. Okay. So with, as of now, are you guys clear? Nandini?
Ma'am?
Yeah, as of now, you guys are clear, right?
Yes, ma'am. Little bit.
Okay. Then, all right, we'll move to the next one, this particular program. Okay, now what happens with this third program? So now we have got the header files, the main function is there. The same program, I've just added a value plus 15. Okay, so for the previous program, you had a value as an output because we used the format specifier to be %d. So now we use it as plus 15. So anybody can guess now what would be the output for this?
80.
Ma'am.
80.
18.
80. Then Gopi?
80, ma'am.
80. Okay. Okay, good. So how do you say 80 is? The last program itself we have just discussed. The value of ASCII value of this character is going to be 65. So directly I'm just adding the value 15. So it is going to be 80. Okay. So next. Okay, now what will be the value for this program? Output for this? Don't worry, because yes,
Capital
yes.
P, ma'am.
Capital
P.
P. Okay.
Ma'am, no characteristic.
I just run into it. I don't know who gave me the answer. It's correct. It's capital P. Who gave me the answer?
47, ma'am.
47. Good. Okay. So how it is 47? I'm sorry. How it is capital P is in your ASCII table. The corresponding value for this 80 is capital P. Okay. So the reverse I've just tried here. So initially what we have done is for capital A, we have tried to get the integer value. So it was 65. Now the reverse, giving the integer value, what would be the character? So that is what we tried here. So given the integer value, what would be the corresponding character for it? So that is the capital P. Okay. So this program I will teach you after teaching you with printf and scanf. So these four are some basic programs which I wanted to discuss. All right. Okay, fine. So next is we'll get into the concepts now. So this will be your course plan week wise. So last week we had an introduction to C and the link was communicated to you guys. In today's class, we will be looking into these two topics. One is the console input output functions. In that console input output, you will have four basic functions. That is, what is the scanf, what is printf, and what is get character and put character function. So these four functions are the basic functions. We will have a look at it. Next topic is about the operators. In this operators, you need to know what is hierarchy, that is orders, and then what is the associativity of operators and what is expressions. So this will be the topic for today's class. And you will have these topics in the next upcoming class. You will have control statements in the next 2 weeks. So why am I discussing this particular date-wise portion is, if you guys have extra time, you can take up any of the free courses, or I have also given you a link for free NPTEL course. It is available in YouTube. If you have some extra time, look at all these videos and check out the concepts, because if you don't give your own effort, okay, C is not going to be easy, because you need to put a lot of extra time into it. Only then you will at least become an intermediate level. Okay, so you will have functions, arrays, and then you have pointers. Then you have a Pongal holiday on this 14th, I think. Then you have a CAT examination. Then you will have these 3 more topics. Finally, you will have CAT 2. So basically, I will also share this with you guys so that you can according to these concepts, you can just look into the internet or any of the books, and you can go through this advanced, all right, so that you are much equipped for the lab. So this is about your this is about the console input output functions. Okay, so the first thing is you have got formatted input and output. For this particular topic, you have got 4 functions basically. So this formatted input output is nothing but how are you going to read the values from the user through the keyboard? How are you going to display it in the screen? Okay, so that's about the formatted input and output. So basically your inputs, it is going to be like some of the data or information has to be fed to the program, and output is some of the information is going to be fed from the program to you, to the user. That's on the screen is going to be displayed. So all the built-in functions, it will be predefined in your header files. So as far as now we are familiar with 2 header files. One is the hash include SDIO, that is standard input output, and conio.h. Okay, console input output. So these two things are you are more familiar with as of now. So every time when you are processing with this input and output, essentially one character, that's one byte. In computer term, you call it as a byte. So every time what happens is each character wise it will be processed. Not just like that, everything will not be processed automatically. What happens is each and every character will be read and accordingly processing will happen. So you need to know about the basic terms like what is a stream. Stream is nothing but a sequence of characters will be there. If it is just flowing either from your keyboard to your compiler, that's to your print screen, or from your screen you can just read it. So that is about the stream. So in the stream you have got two types, the input and the output. So input stream is always from the keyboard, you're going to just enter the values. Okay, so that's about the input stream. Output is the reverse. It is from the memory of the computer. You're going to just values. You're going to read it on your screen. Okay, or you can print the values or print the message. So that's about the output stream. So basically you have got three streams. One is stdin, that is standard input stream, basically your keyboard. Then standard output is std out, that is a monitor. And then you have got some errors. If you have any of the errors, logical errors or warnings, it has been shown as the error stream. Okay, so see, all these things you should have a basic idea so that it will be easy for you to move on with these four functions. So again, you have a syntax for this printf. Within the keyword usage will be printf. Within this parenthesis, you are going to represent two things. One is the format string. So as of now, the basic data types like integer, the character, all those things were being specified here. You have used the format specifier. Followed by that, you had a list of expressions. This is nothing but either you can have it as in our basic examples we just discussed as x plus 15, or it could be the name of the variable alone, x. So this could be the syntax. This has to be followed. Syntax is something which already it has been defined. So if you are going to make use of this printf statement, you have to stick on to this syntax. You should have the keyword as printf, and within this parenthesis, you should have two things. One is the format string, that is format specifier. Followed by that, you should have the expression. Expression is nothing but from where are you going to print the value. That is the first thing. Or you can have any of the expressions to be evaluated, like x plus 15, or you can have 10 plus 20. Any of the values can be calculated here. Always remember this printf, scanf, all these statements, it has to be terminated with this semicolon. All right, so this is a simple syntax. If you remember the syntax, it's very simple. You can use it as such in any of the programs. Sticking on to your own requirement, you can use it. Okay, so this is the syntax for printf. A simple example is here, number students is the variable name. This variable name is going to take up a data type called integer. So the value, some value is assigned to this variable. So printf statement is used here. So in this printf, as we discussed, it is going to take up two arguments, 1 and 2. Okay. So the very first argument, it is going to be the format specifier. So along with the number, since you have defined this variable num student to be integer data type, the format specifier you use it here is going to be %d. Okay. Then any of the statement could be there. That is left up to you. You could also give it as first year count is %d students. This is the statement given here. It could also be given it as directly %d. Okay. Make sure that you have the format specifier here in the first argument. Second, you will have the expression or the name of the variable will be the second argument. So then from where this %d value should be printed, from this variable num students, it has to be printed. So it has been represented here. So for these two lines of program, your output will be first year student is, instead of %d, from this variable num student, the value will be copied and printed here. So num student is going to hold the value 35123. So this is going to be replaced here. So you're going to get the output as first year count is 35123 students. Okay, so this is a simple example for the print. This is the printf function. So it is one of the type of formatted input output. Okay, so if you need to specify some of the spaces, okay, say for example, with the same, sticking on to the same output, previous output, if first year count is, the previous output was directly without any space, you had this as an output. If you have any requirement for some of the spaces before this, then you can just use this syntax. That is, you can set the field width. We call it as field width. Before this %d, that is percentage %d was used in the previous example. Before this d, if you use any of the values, like how many space you wanted to use there. Okay, so if I need to have some space before the value, I can give any of the number value here, so that if I have given it as 10, the 10 spaces will be left and then the values will be followed. This you can try and see. Okay, so this is about the justification. You can align it left or right, so accordingly. All right. So these are the just extra things for you. If you are interested, make a note of it. So basically, you should know the syntax of this statement. This is very important. The syntax should be known, and you have to terminate with semicolon. And this is how generally you use it. So since it is an integer data type, you use it as D. If it is going to be a character, you're going to use it as C. If you're going to be a float, you will have F. Okay, so there are difference in the way you use it. And next is, how do you print with respect to the floating? So as I said, if my value is going to be a longer value, if it is going to be a decimal value, of course, the type will be float. If my number is going to be really very big, okay, in that case, I can use a data type as double. So double is again comes under the float data type if it is going to be really long one. So this already we have discussed in last class. So the printf, now I am going to use it as, this is just a dollar symbol. So your total cost is dollar symbol. It's just for the representation. You can use it as RS rupees. So percentage F is used here because double, it could be like LB or it could be F. You can use it as float here and use it as F today. So if it is going to be F from the variable cost, since cost is going to hold this value, it has to be replaced. So the value mentioned here is cost. So it will directly copy the value from here. Then it will print, since the type is float, along with the trailing zeros, you will get the output. Okay, so this is how you use the print statement. This syntax, I repeat, make a note of this statement because everywhere you will use this printf statement, and make sure you follow this syntax and you have to terminate it with the semicolon. Okay, then okay, next, printing the characters and the strings. So characters, it's just if you have the data type as character and the variable name is given here. If I've just used a single character as Q, and if I use 3% C's, okay, so here it is quite interesting. If I give the name of the character as letter, what happens? This letter will be replaced with its value Q, and I will get the value as Q here. If I need 2 stars between, before and after the character, I can again represent it with %C, so that it will just get displayed as % star, Q, and star. You just try these things. I'll share the slides with you guys. Try this and see. So you can also avoid all the stars, and just if you give letter, what happens? Only Q will get printed here. Okay. Next is about the scanf. So as of now, we are done with print, and scanf is nothing but you are supposed to use the keyword scanf, and within the parenthesis, you will have again 2 things. One is the format specifier, then you will have the address from where. Again, as we used in print statement, here you will have address. In your print, you just had the name of the variable, but here you need to mention the address. So always you will have the symbol called ampersand. Okay, ampersand symbol will be used. So this is an example for you to understand 2 things, that is a printf and scanf. So in the header file is used, then in main function, we have used 3 data types, right? Basic ones. So the variable I is of integer data type, F is of float, and C is of character data type. So in the first print statement, I'm just asking the user to enter the integer and the float. Okay, I'm just giving a simple print statement. I'm not using 2 arguments here, only single arguments. Just a print statement is used. In scanf, I'm just going to read. Okay, it is going to be 3 values, right? One is the integer D, then second is going to be float, and third is going to be the character. Right from here, I'm just going to read it. Okay, so first type of argument is going to be the format specifier. Second type is going to be from where we have to do. Okay, so you have to use this variable I, F, and C, and you should have this ampersand. Why do we use this ampersand here is, you're going to tell the compiler that in this particular address, in this location, you have to use, you have to store the values. So in the first statement, if the user is entering the value for integer and float and the character, that is character is either it will be yes or no, y or n. Okay. If I'm entering a value like integer is 1 and the value for float and the value for character, what happens is in this particular location, there is this ampersand type. In this location, I have to store that value. So that is the meaning for using this ampersand. Okay. Next statement, you're just going to print you entered, and it will be like from how do you print? Again, from the format specifiers you will print. Okay, so I use the same %d here, and in the second set of arguments I will specify the name of the variables. All right, so this is a very simple and basic program which will clearly explain you the difference between how to use the printf and how to use the scanf statement. So always remember, in your scanf statement you have to use this ampersand symbol in the second list of argument, because you need to specify the address where the value has to be stored. Okay, in your printf you don't have all the confusion. You just have two things. One is what is message, and from second thing is from where you have to print. So these two are the basic difference between your printf and the scanf statements. So this is a simple example for this program. If you run it, you will get this output. Simple explanation. Okay, so first is integer is entered, next float value, and then the character y is entered. And this I want you to try, okay, and tell me what would be the output. Just take a screenshot in your phones of this page. Okay, have you taken a screenshot of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next is the last two functions, your get character and put character. So right from the name, you can easily say what is it, right? Get character of. It is nothing but you're going to read some character from the input. I'm sorry, from the keyboard. Okay, that's from the terminal. So always it is going to return it as an integer. So whenever any character, or it could be any numbers, whenever it is being taken from the keyboard, what happens is internally it will be converted into integer, right? Like corresponding ASCII value will be read, and it will be again converted into zeros and ones. So every time it is going to be returned as integer, and get character means each time a single character will be read. Okay. If you wanted to read more than one character, you have to use something called loop. So this you don't worry. Next class we will look into what is this looping statements and all. So for now, you have to know what is get character, okay, and how it is going to store the values. So it is going to always store it as an integer format, okay, and every time it is going to just read or get only one character. So that is from the name you can make it over. And what is this put character means? What? Just it is going to print whatever character is there. Okay, it is holding, it is going to just print the same. Okay, so this is a simple pictorial representation of these two functions. So from the keyboard, a character has been entered. So you use this function called get character. Okay, so it has been stored here in a variable. Okay, then in screen, if something, if again in second example, if this data is being entered as G, it has been put as G, it is directly getting printed here. Okay, so there is a difference. So now here it is being read and it has been stored as a variable. It's how we declare. And here if you're going to use it as an put character, and if you're going to mention it of any of the characters within this parenthesis, it is just going to be displayed here. I'll show you the example. So this is a simple example explaining these two stuff. So in my header file, within that I've just given a main function. The execution always begins after this main function. So within this curly parenthesis, you're going to have the statements. So you have and character, that is a variable C to be a data type integer. Then you're going to just use a printf statement, enter the character. You're going to ask the user to enter the character. So the next time this variable C is going to use this function called get character. All right. and I'm going to just return it. I'm just going to print it, put character of C. Okay, so I want you guys to give me an answer. What would be the output for this? Yes. Yes, Gopi. Then roll number 47. Yes. 47.
Ma'am, it will be C, ma'am. Ma'am, but in the printf you didn't declare anything, ma'am. So next line it will become C, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, in printf you didn't give that format string, ma'am. That last C you didn't declare,
Okay.
ma'am. So
Okay.
that C will not be printed, ma'am. So the next line put character, it will be printed, ma'am.
Okay, good. So in this statement, what will be the output for this statement?
Enter a character, then C
User
will
will
come.
enter a character and that will be the output. Good.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll just show them. Okay. See, it's returning. Okay. It's asking for enter character because of this enter a character because of this print statement. Then it's just returning, entering the value. I'm entered in a value called S, so it is just printing the value. So what happens is, after getting into the main function, compiler understands that data type of integer, variable named C is being declared. Then it is asking you to enter one character. There's just a simple message. You can have any message here. Okay. You can even have, give me an input. Any statement could be here. Then you have a simple variable usage. C, it is going to just get the single character from the user, then you're going to just print it. So that is the reason why you use a character here. So give me an input. If I give it as E, it's just going to get printed. That's it. So this is about the usage of simple get and four functions: get character, put characters, and printf and scan. Okay. So this is about the basic console input output. Okay, I think next is about the main stuff. Okay, operator. Okay, so with this console, if anybody has got any doubts, you can mute your mic and ask.
What is the difference between float and double, ma'am?
It's actually the range matters. Like float and double, both are going to read only the decimal values. Okay. But the range, it's like, as I mentioned you in the last class, if my requirement is I have to read an salary of employee from TCS, okay? So it will be a maximum of 10 lakhs per annum, okay? But if I have to read a salary of Facebook owner or CEO or, Sundar Pichai's salary. So it is going to be huge, right? It will be in trillions. So to have the range difference, you will have this float and double. Okay. So it's like if Sundar Pichai's salary is around 4 trillion. So the number value, that is the range it is going to take up, is going to be huge. So that range will not be supported with integer. So it will have to go to the next level, that is to the float. Float, it will have the decimal representation. Again, if the range is too high, you have to go to the next range, that is the double. And even in double, you have long doubles. Okay, all matters is the range. 47, are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, any doubts with the console? I hope. Anybody else? Okay. The next topic is about operators. Okay. So in general, you have got all these types as type of operators. Okay. So generally, what is operator is you have basic mathematical functions like addition, subtraction, multiplication. All these things are known as operators for us till now. So in C language, you have got additionally you have got many other types of operators. So first type is arithmetic, and you have assignment, you have got relational, logical, bitwise, conditional, increment, decrement, and special. See, as of now, we are aware about the operators which are being done with respect to the mathematics subject, correct? Apart from that, we have got a lot of other stuff. We will just look into each and every operator. So with respect to this operators, you have to remember that a statement where these operators are put in, okay? So that is called as an expression, correct? If an expression is A plus B, or it is C is equal to A plus B. So in this statement, the operator used are plus and equal. You agree or not? So see, say for example, my statement is if A plus B, C is equal to A plus B. This is my statement, okay? So in the statement, variables used are C, A, and B, and the operators used are plus. This is how we give an answer, right? So as of now, we know the operator are mathematical operators, right? So used here is plus operator. But in C programming, we have additional operators. With this simple statement, each and every statement involved, we call it as expressions. So with this simple expression, we have got two operators here. One is plus and another one is this equal to. Equal to is also treated as an operator in C language. Okay. So we will just have a look into what are the different type of operators here. So the very first type, so it's about the introduction. It's about all the symbols which we use logically and in mathematics, so that we call it as operators. And within the statements, that is in the expression, you will have lot of variables usage, and you can have lot of functions and have constants. Okay, so all these things put together, you can form as an expression. So in each and every type of operators, you will look into the differentiation between them. So arithmetic, of course, you will have all the basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, modulo, and division. Assignment, you have got around 5 to 7 type of assignment operators. Right from the name itself, you have to remember and understand what it is. Okay, so arithmetic, in the sense, all the basic mathematics operators you have to use. Assignment, in the sense, you're going to have variables. To those variables, you are going to assign some values. The values, it could be any type. It could be integer, it could be float, it could be character. Any type of the values will be assigned to the variables. Okay, so right from the name, you have to remember stuff. Okay, so that's how your assignment operators will work. And relational operators, in the sense, you will have an comparison to be made between two variables. Means what? If you have got a value for a variable A as 1, and if you have a value for variable B as 2, if you have to compare if these two are equal, so that you call it as a relational operator. I'm just giving you a simple example. So when there is a comparison, any type of comparison can be made between two variables. So those types of comparison, when you make it over, you make use of all these operators which are within this relational data type, that is within this relational type. Okay. Then logical operator is when you're going to perform some logical operations with two variables. You call it as logical operators. Then bitwise is nothing but each and every character or it could be numbers, everything which we enter into the program or enter into the system, it will be internally converted into numbers, and the numbers again will be converted into zeros and ones, correct? So if I give it as capital A as an input, that has to be converted into ASCII value, that is 65, or it could be converted into its equivalent hexadecimal value. Again, it will be converted into zeros and ones. So everything is going to be dealt with bits of zeros and ones. So how are we going to directly involve into this bitwise operators? Then you have got something called conditional or ternary. So it is like if you're going to return, if you have got a statement or a condition statement, and within the statement, if you're going to return either true or false, okay, that I will give you examples. I'm just giving you an explanations in short now. So if you have got a conditional statement and if you're going to return either a statement is true or false, you use this conditional operators. Next is increment or decrement. It's nothing but if you have a value to a variable, if you have to increase the value or if you have to decrease the value to the variable, then you use this type called increment or decrement operator. Finally, you have got the special operators. You have got ampersand. Ampersand is nothing but, always remember, ampersand is used in C language to represent the address of any of the variables used. Okay, so that is for the address. Then you have got the star as pointer. You call it as pointer variable. Then you have this size of. Size of is a function. Then ternary operators. So all these comes under the special operators. So next we'll just have a look at each and every type. First type is your arithmetic. So this is very basic stuff everybody knows. You have got this add operator. Okay, so you have two variables here, A and B, and you're going to make use of this plus, and then the subtraction, A minus B, then multiplication, then division and modulo. So all these are the basic arithmetic operators. So the example for the basic arithmetic operators, it could be you have got the usage of header files, then the execution begins from your main function. Here you have used the variable A and B, then add subtraction, multiply, divide, and modulo. All these things are the names of the variables, okay, where it is going to hold the results of the calculations. So all these things I have defined it to be a data type of integer. So the first variable add is going to have a computation of A plus B. Okay, so after performing this operation, the value will be stored within this variable add. Similarly, A minus B and A multiplied by B divided and modulo. So all these things are going to be calculated and its values will be stored in respective variable names. So all these variables what I have done here, I have declared it here. Okay. Next, I'm just going to print all these things. So as we just discussed, in printf statement, you will have two arguments. One is along with the message, you will have the format specifier. In second thing, you will have from where you have to print this value. So first the statement is you are going to print the value of addition. So the variable used is add. So from add, you're going to print it. Obviously, it is going to be an integer data type. So I've used it as %d. Okay. So this explanation goes same for rest of the stuff. That is your subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo. Okay. So this is a simple example where it explains about the usage of arithmetic operators in C. Okay. So next, second type is the assignment operator. So in assignment, as of now, we know if you use this equal to symbol, it is going to be called as an assignment operator. Correct. But in C programming, you have got a lot of the stuff related to this assignment. Not only this equal to, you have got something called plus equal. Means what? If my statement says that test, this is an example. If a variable test is given as plus equal to 10, it means test is equal to test plus 10. That is the meaning of it. Okay, it means what? Initially, we just use the equal to symbol. This is how we are used to do, right? Test is equal to 10. So if my requirement is, if I have to write the value for test as test plus 10, this value should be stored in test. In shorthand, I can represent it as this. That is test plus is equal to 10. This is one type of assignment operator. And second type is minus. For minus and equal to, if my requirement is, if I want the variable named test to be subtracted by 10, and if this value has to be stored again in this variable test, then I can represent it simply like this. Test minus is equal to 10. Okay. So the same explanation goes for the star, then that's for multiplication, division, and modulo. Modulo is nothing but division is if you divide two numbers, you're just going to return the quotient. But in case of modulo, if we divide two numbers, the remainder will be returned. That is, if it is 5 divided by 2, what will be the remainder? Gopi, what will be the remainder? Gopi? Guys, am I audible? Jeffrey? Yes, what will be the remainder? 1. Good. Okay, so it's about the remainder stuff when you use the modulo. So same if it is the same number 5 divided by 2, so the quotient will be 2. So the answer will be different for division and it will be different for modulus operator. Okay, and ampersand, it will be the testing condition. This again we'll look into it. Okay, so this ampersand and this cap symbol is used as a logical symbols. Again, we'll look down. So it's like the combination. If it is like test and 10, if I have to represent it like this, then I will have a usage as test and is equal to 10. Okay. So basically, all these assignment operators are used for shorthand representations. Okay. Whenever you have a requirement like this, if you wanted to represent it in shorthand, you can use all these type of operators. This is about the second type. A simple example is shown here. So this again, I've got a representation with loops, so I don't want to confuse you guys. So if you're clear with this table, it is more than enough. And the next type is relational. So as I said, relation is going to be used for comparing between two variables. Okay. So say for example, my variables are x and y. If I need to compare it, right, it could be like a greater than comparison could be done, or it could be lesser than comparison, or it could be greater than or equal to, okay, then less than or equal to, or is equal to. This is different. So if it is 2 times, if you're using this equal to operator, it is like you're checking, is it there, is it equal to, okay? If you make use of a single equal to sign, you're making an assignment to it. If you use 2 equal to sign, it is different. It means you're checking if both are same, both are equal, okay? And the last one is not equal to. If x and y are not equal, you're just going to check. So for your information, all these relational operators is going to take up a value of true or false. That is, the result could either be 0 or it could be 1. That is, if my value for variable x is 1 and if my value for y is 0, or it could be 3. Okay. So 1 is greater than 3. The condition is false, correct? So my result will be 0. All the relational operators will return the result as true or false. This you have to remember. So all the result will be either zeros or ones. So for the same example, if the value of x is going to be 1, if the value of y is going to be 3, in this case what happens? 1 is lesser than 3. This is true or false? Nandini, answer.
Ma'am.
Yes. For this statement, if 1 is less than 3, is this true or false?
1 is less than. Yes, ma'am. True,
it's
ma'am.
true. So the output will be 0 or 1. Nandini?
Ma'am.
See, relational operators, it will return as an output as 0 or 1. Okay. So for this statement, 1 is lesser than 3. If it is an example, so the output will be true. True means you will get an output as 1. Is it clear, Nandini?
Ah, yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so the same explanation goes for the rest of the things. So say for example, if I'm checking x is equal to y, which means false because x is going to take up the value 1. Is 1 equal to 3? It is false. Okay, so the output will be 0. So this is about the relational operator. And again here looping statements are being used here, so I don't want to give you explanation with this. I'll give simpler example. Then logical operator is nothing but you have got 3 types. You have logical and, means if you use a single ampersand symbol, it is called as a address. You're going to specify some address in the scanf statements. But if you use two and ampersand symbols, it is called as logical and. Okay, means if you have a comparison between two statements, if A is greater than B and B is greater than, lesser than 5, means what? Only when both these conditions, that is A greater than 5 and B is less than 5, if both these are true, you will get a result to be true. Okay, it's very simple. Whatever condition you are going to compare, both should be true. Only then in your logical and you're going to get the result as true. Okay, true means what? 1. Okay, in logical R, this is called as pipe symbol. Okay, in this logical R, two conditions you're going to compare, and in this two condition, any one of the condition, if it is greater, if it's true, or if both the conditions are true, it will return a value to be true. Okay, and logical not is just the reverse of true. All right, so it is very simple to visualize it. I will show a few examples so that you will understand how it works. And bitwise again. So here it will be with respect to the bits directly. So say for example, if you have got the value 65, the corresponding binary value of 65 as zeros and ones will be considered, and to that values you will operate this bitwise operators, that is bitwise and, bitwise or, not, XOR. Then you're shifting it towards left and you're shifting it towards right. Okay, I will show you examples. Just have an understanding about what it is. So this sheet alone, this page alone, just take a screenshot and because I want you to try this, take a screenshot and have it for your reference. This is for bitwise operator. See, I will just explain. It's very simple. So two variables we have used, that is variable m and n. Two variables, two values are initialized, and to have the results of the operations, we have used other variables named AND operation, OR operation, XOR, and NOT. Okay, so in each of these variables, what has been done is the calculation has been done. That is, this value m and this value n is performed an AND operation. Okay, this AND operation is not done between the values directly. What happened is bitwise it will be considered. That is, for the value 40, conversion is done directly from 40 to zeros and ones, and it will be compared into AND operator. Similarly, for OR, I think someone has unmuted your mic. Please mute your mic. Kuruba, 19. Thank you. Okay, so here, in your OR operator, similarly, the value of m or n is being done. Okay, just take a snapshot of this and try so that you will, when you do it hands-on, you will clearly understand. And this is the conditional operator. See, as I explained you in the first slide, so the syntax of conditional operator will be like this, because you have an condition to be executed and you are asking the compiler if it is true or it is false. It is very simple. So for the condition, I will give an expression here. So the condition is going to be if the value of A is going to be greater than 100. Okay, so this is my condition. If this condition is going to be true, the first value will be returned. Okay, if this condition is going to be false, the second value will be returned. That's all. It's very simple. I repeat, the syntax will be the condition should be there. A question mark will always be here. Followed by that, you will have two stuff. One is the true value. If this condition is true, what value has to be returned? Followed by that, you will have a colon, and then you will have a false value. If the condition is false, the second value has to be executed. So the example for it is, the condition given here is, if A value for this variable A, if it is greater than 100, there is a question mark, you're going to check. And if it is true, you will be getting the first compartment will be executed. That is, between these two, If this condition is true, the first one will be executed. If it is false, the second one will be executed. Okay. So this is a simple example for conditional operator. So all these operators, only when you know what it is, in the upcoming classes, when a program has been given, you have to remember these operators and you have to use these operators accordingly in the programs. Okay. And okay, this is a simple example which gives you a clarification about this conditional or ternary operator. So the name of the conditional operator, another name is ternary operator. Okay. So in this header file and main function is given. Within this main function, we have assigned the value of x to be 1 and another variable called y is used. Okay. So this in this line we have used the conditional operator. So we are assigning the returned value, that is the result of this conditional or statement, okay, to be the result for the value y. Okay, so what happens is x is taken the value y, it has been assigned. We are going to check if this value is equal to 1. Is it true or false? If it is true, the first value will be returned. If this is false, the second value will be returned. Okay, so that is being printed again here. X value is printed and y value is printed. Okay, so now you guys give me an answer. What will be the output for this? I've just explained you how this statement will work. Okay, so what will be the output for this program? Let me point out. Okay, 47.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm seeing code.
Yeah. Come on, it's quite simple. You don't have to take long time.
Ma'am, first it's checking the value of x, ma'am, whether it's exactly 1. X is equal to 1. And the condition is true, ma'am. Then one will be the output, ma'am.
For which one?
After that, why is that 2:0, ma'am?
This is the syntax for it. See, I'll just show you. The syntax for this statement itself is, this is the syntax. You have to stick on to this. That is a condition you can use. Followed by that, you will have a question mark. Then you will have two things to follow. One is the true value. Whatever, if the condition is given here, if it is true, that value should be written. Any value could be written here. And followed by that, you should have a colon. See, in a printf statement, the syntax is you have to terminate it with a semicolon. Correct? Similarly, these syntax you have to strictly follow. So after this question mark, you will have two things. One is true value. You should have a colon here. Then you should have a false value. Then followed by that, you should have semicolon. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
47.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So with respect to this program, you mean to say the value is compared here. So it is 1 is equal to 1. What is it? Is it true or false?
True, ma'am. Then
true. If this is true, yes, tell me.
Is equal to 2. Then
please be loud.
1 second, ma'am. Now am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. First, the condition is true, ma'am. X is equal to 1. According to the syntax, 2 will be written, ma'am. Y is equal to 2 will be the output, ma'am.
Very good. Okay.
And the x is equal to 1 will be the output, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. Once again, I'll just show them. So. Okay, the value of x is going to be the same value and the value of y after executing this statement. Okay, so the value is 2 of y. You should know the reason, because first half you are going to make a comparison. The value of x is being initialized to 1. So here you are going to check if 1 is equal to 1. If it is true, 1 is equal to 1 is true. In that case, the first compartment value will be executed and that will be stored in the variable y. If my value instead of 1, if I give it as 9, okay. So now what will be the output? Yes, roll number 47. Because you have given the correct answer. What will be the output now?
Ma'am, I have some issues, ma'am. Show me the question again, ma'am.
It's here. Can you see?
Wait, ma'am. It is showing reconnecting. I came. Now the condition is false, ma'am.
Very good. Okay.
So y equal to 0 now, and x is equal to 9, ma'am.
Good, good. So now the value will be x value is 9 and y value is 0. Okay. Because now what happened is I have changed the value of x to be 9. So the comparison will be made here. Is 9 is equal to 1? No. So what happens? The true statement, this value, this compartment will not be executed. Instead, this will be executed. So the value returned is 0. This will be stored in the variable y. So the value of x and y will be printed accordingly. Okay. So I think ternary operator is done. Next is your increment and decrement. So this type is again simple. Always you're going to use the values. You will be assigning it to the variable. When there is a need to either increment the value or to decrement the value of those variables, then you can make use of this increment and decrement operator. So you have got two stuff. One is with respect to the increment operator, you have the variable name. Either you can use this increment operator before this, that is you call it as pre-increment, okay, or you can use it after the variable name, that is you use it as a post-increment. Similarly, the decrement operator, you can either use it pre-decrement you can do it, or post-decrement you can do it. I will tell you what is the difference between these two. So again, this example is about the looping, so I don't want to confuse. Okay. So okay, with this basic, I just wanted to know from you guys how how far you're comfortable. Do you have any doubts with this basics of operators? Yes. Let me ask. 45. Vikash.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you clear with whatever is being taught till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then 42. 42. Are you here?
Ma'am?
Yes. Are you clear with the stuff?
I can't hear you, ma'am.
Are you clear with whatever we have discussed till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we are done with this. All right. So now I'll just show you an example for all the operators which we have just discussed now. Okay. So we'll just have examples. We'll have a look so that you will have a complete understanding. So the first type is arithmetic. I think most of you are clear with this arithmetic operators. I'll just give you a few examples for it. So in this program, we have just used two variables, okay, A and B. So for the first plus operator, we have okay. So for the first operator plus, we have just added two numbers A plus B, and since everything is in integer data type, just %d specifier is used to print the values. Similarly, the subtraction, multiplication, in mod A into B and A modulo B. These two values will be taken, the values for A and B, and it will be computed and the result will be getting it. Okay, so this will be the output, sum. Because you have used within the printf statement, a name is used here, so that is getting displayed. Instead of %d, this will be calculated and that value will be returned here. That will be printed. So now A is holding the value 25, B is holding the value 8. So when you add these two, you will get 33. So that is getting displayed here. So similarly, the rest of the operations will be calculated and the corresponding values are getting replaced into this format specifier and you are getting the output. Okay, so this is with respect to your arithmetic operator. So here a simple explanation is, if you have got 5 divided by 2, the result will be 2, correct? Rather than 2.5 will be the exact result, but here you will just get it as 2. So what you do is, any of these things, so the example is, if you have got two variables A and B and the values are 2 and 9, so you are going to divide B divided by A. So 9 by 2 is going to be 2.5. How much is the output here? 9 by 2, it will be 4.5, correct? But since I have used only integer type, the value 4 alone is getting displayed. So the actual result should be 4.5. To get that result, what has to be done? Any of these things, at least one of the variables, it should be declared to be float. In that case, my result will be 4.5. So that is the explanation. So one of the variable is getting declared as float. In this case, my value will be 4.5. So this is a simple explanation for the usage of integer and the float. Okay, so that's it about the arithmetic. So hierarchy is nothing but you should know the order of execution. You have got the basic 5 types, that is plus, minus. See, you have got these basic types. So when you are executing this in your 12th standard, you would have read this, right? Boardmaster rule you should have known. So it's about the brackets. Then you have this division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So similarly, in this C programming, you have a rule. It's not exactly the Boardmaster rule. Instead, you have got an order. It has to be followed. That is, in a particular expression, the first importance will be given to this bracket. Anything being executed within this bracket will be given the first preference, and then followed by that you will have the multiplication, that is multiplicative, plus, that is your star symbol for the multiplication, then your division and modulo operation. All these three is going to get the next preference. After the bracket, you will have the preference will be given to this. Followed by that, you will have the additive, that is plus and minus, and finally you have the equality. So this will be the order. In this order, your expressions will be evaluated. Okay. And second thing, what you have to know is the associativity. That is how you're going to execute it, in which format. That is either from left towards your right or right towards your left. Okay. So to be more simple, these operators, that is your multiplicative operators, will execute left to right, and this add and minus will also be executed in left to right. But your equal to operator will be executed in right to left. The reason is very, very simple. See, you have got a statement. If this is my expression, okay, the variable k is going to store the value after executing this expression. Okay, so just by looking into this, you can say, first, there is no bracket, so next preference has to be given to this multiplication and this division. So solving this multiplication and division, it should go from left, correct? From left to right, it has to go. So 8 divided by 4 is executed, then plus 3 minus, next what has to be executed? This star multiplication. So 30, then plus 8, it is repeated. Now with this expression, additive thing, that is plus and minus, from left to right you have to execute. So after execution you will get a result as minus 17. Now what happens? This equal to operator is always from a right to left, that is minus 17 value will be assigned to this variable k. So from right to left you are assigning, but all these things you are assigning, your associativity is from left to right. Okay, it's very simple to understand. Once you do hands-on, it will be easy for you. Okay. Then relational operator, as we have already discussed, it is going to just make a comparison and it is going to give you true or false values. So a very clear example is if your variable A is going to store a value 8 and if your variable B is going to store a value 4. Okay. So the first case is you're going to use this equal to operator. Means what? You're going to check if A is equal to B. So the value of A is 8 and the value of B is 4. So definitely 8 is not equal to 4. So you're going to get the value as false. Correct. Similarly, these values will be substituted here and the result will be taken. So now for this case, 8 is greater than 4. It is true. So the value returned is true. Okay. So in this way, your assignment operator will be executed. And a simple program is, given here. So the value for A is going to be 5 and B is going to be 6. So you're going to just use all this all these relational operators here. You're going to just compare all the different type of comparison has been done between these two values and you're going to just print the result. Okay. So your result is just going to be zeros and ones. Why? Because you're going to just say that if it is true, if A is going to be equivalent to B, if it is true, you will get a value as 1. If it is going to be false, you're going to get a value as 0. So always remember in your relational operators, the result is definitely going to be either 0 or 1. Apart from this, you will not have any other values like 5, 6, all those things will not be the result. It will only be zeros and ones. So this you have to remember. This is with respect to your relational operator. Then, as I said before, the basic difference between a single equal to and double equal to sign is that if you're going to use the single equal to sign, it is going to be just an assignment. You're going to assign a value 5 to the variable x. If it is going to be equal to, it is different. What you're going to do is you're checking if this value is equivalent to this value. Okay, I'll just give you a simple explanation. If it is a single equal, you're saying that you are Sam. You're assigning the value Sam to this person. If you're going to just use double equal to sign, then you're going to question it. You're going to just make a comparison. Is this particular person is Sam? You have a question there. You're going to just ask. Okay. So that's about the assignments. And then logical. So logical, as we have just discussed, it will be the logical and, or, and not. Okay. So I will show you an example program so that you will understand it better. So the value of variable A is assigned to be 5 and B is assigned to be 0. In the first one, I'm just using the logical and. Means what? The value 5 and the value B is 0. Is it? You're going to just perform the AND operator. Okay. So both is not going to be true, right? So you're going to get it as 0. So now